In today's episode, we explore three tragic cases where disputes escalated into life altering consequences: a social media feud turned deadly in Pennsylvania, a Maryland family's legal battle over LGBTQ rights and religious beliefs, and a Jacksonville woman's tragic fate trying to help someone escape domestic violence. These stories highlight the devastating impact of unresolved conflicts. You are watching Epicenter Express, and I am your host, Andrell Hill. Feuding sisters became deadly for a young woman living in York City, Pennsylvania. New Year's Eve of 2022 was no celebration for Amaya Page. She was only 18 years old when she was accidentally shot and killed by Elijah Holmes, age 21. This whole mess started on Facebook when Holmes and her sister, Jesiah Mays, got into an argument. The two women agreed to meet up to have a fight. According to Holmes, Mays said she would be bringing a gun to the fight. So she brought hers too. She had a friend drive her to the meeting location in a U-Haul. She saw a group of girls standing together, one being her sister, and began shooting. Holmes stated she thought she shot her sister because she saw someone fall. She had her cousin call around to find out what happened to Mays. That's when she learned Paige, whom was a friend of her sister's and she didn't know, was killed. She did turn herself in 6 days later and pleaded guilty to criminal homicide in August. She was sentenced to life in prison on Wednesday, October 16th. This tragic story shows how quickly things can go wrong when arguments turn violent. A social media fight between two sisters ended in the death of an innocent young woman and a life sentence for another. It is a reminder of the serious consequences that can happen when conflicts aren't resolved peacefully. Taking your child to the emergency room is a horrific experience in and of itself. Can you imagine going through that and then being terrorized by the hospital? This is what went down with a military black couple in Maryland. Let's call them John and Jane. Back in the summer of 2021, they found themselves in a really tough spot. Their 16-year-old autistic son, who had allegedly come out with a new sexual orientation, was taken away from them because they refused to affirm it. The Maryland Department of Human Services, along with the local police, actually showed up to remove their son from their home. They were saying that what the parents were doing amounted to child abuse. This all took place in Prince George's County, a place known for its LGBTQ affirming policies. The local child welfare folks, especially this group called the Affirm Unit, see it as harmful, even abusive, if parents don't affirm their kids' LGBTQ identity. To them, it doesn't matter if those parents have religious beliefs or want to parent differently. The family stated their son, who was 16 at the time, was hospitalized at Children's National Hospital for trying to hurt himself after a breakup with a girlfriend in 2021. While at the hospital, their child suddenly had an urge to be a girl. When his family would not affirm this belief, this is when their troubles began to mount. The father of the child, John, stated that due to his son being autistic, he will say he is a penguin if you tell him he is one. The hospital staff, according to the parents, really pushed them to go along with their son's new female identity. They even suggested that John and Jane should change their Christian views to align with the hospital's stance on transgender support. Can you believe that? The parents also claimed that staff told them not to read certain parts of the Bible that talk about traditional gender and sexuality, which felt like a huge violation of their religious freedom and caused even more tension within the family. Now, fast forward to the legal side of things. John and Jane fought the abuse allegations in court and managed to get it cleared. But despite that, their son wasn't returned to them. Instead, he ended up being placed with the hospital's non-binary chaplain. The couple is suing the hospital for over $100 million. They claim the hospital used emergency policies to steal their son and wrongfully reported them to Child Protective Services. They have lost so much: their home, their job, and most importantly, their son, who at this very instant time is 19 years old and still in foster care. It's a wild and heartbreaking situation for this family. This tragedy took place in Jacksonville, Florida, when a local Allendale woman trying to help another woman in dire straits leads to a vicious murder. LaDonya Williams was a caring mother and grandmother. The 40-year-old woman was a supervisor doing home repairs. One of the people she supervised was Nathaniel Slate. He's age 43. Her son reported her missing when she did not respond to his birthday message at the end of February. He then stated receiving strange text messages from her asking him for money. He asked the other person personal information, only they would know, and realized something was wrong, and he contacted the police. Slate's girlfriend, whose name is unknown, told investigators that Williams was trying to help her get away from the abusive Slade. It turns out, when he found out in February 2022, he stabbed Williams in the chest and forced his girlfriend to clean up the crime scene and put her remains in the trash can and bury it. He told her he did what he had to do. She was disrespecting me. For weeks, he slept with her body outside the bedroom window. In April of that year, the property owner of the home where Slate was renting was cleaning the property. He's the one who discovered the buried remains and contacted the authorities. Slate was convicted for attempted first-degree murder, burglary, and unlawful possession of a firearm from an unrelated case back in January and was sentenced in February to life imprisonment. In September of this year, he was convicted of second-degree murder of LaDonya Williams, and on October 18th, he was sentenced to life in prison. That does conclude today's episode. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay connected, and stay in the know with Epicenter Xpress. And if you are enjoying these videos, please make sure you like and subscribe.